Yeah. So, ooh,
Where to begin?
where to begin? Yeah. I guess I've had okay, lots of spiritual experience. I was very wealthy, so I could go to any school anywhere in the world, travel and everything. So all these spiritual experiences
Yeah.
and learnings. And I ended up in Ecuador. I stayed with some Indians, some native people,
Oh, beautiful.
where I realized that in spite of all my knowledge, I don't know anything.
Right. That's usually what you get to as you get older, right? You're like, I don't know anything.
I don't know. Where is all my spiritual knowledge? All this, I was expecting some magic from a shaman or something.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning and everybody was sitting, really sitting, and I was the only one who was not sitting but thinking about what's next.
Right.
So that's the reason I'm saying it is because it was a kind of a major milestone for me to realize that I don't know anything.
Right. That is a good milestone for sure.
Yeah.
Most people.
In the meantime, I've had major suicidal depression for a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And so I wanted to kill myself, and I didn't quite kill myself. I was in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and just before killing myself, I looked inside one more time, and sort of something happened to me, and I realized that.
Tell her what exactly happened. It's very important. It has to do with the body.
Yeah, it's I took a lot of martial arts as well, and of course, the kingdom of God is within. Everybody knows that or heard about it, right? And so in martial arts, we learned how to look inside, but in a particular way, especially for demonstrations, karate demonstrations and fighting and breaking a brick or something like that.
Right.
So I was able to do that, looking inside.
Yes.
So I looked inside again, doing it that way, and then somehow the looking inside was so wonderfully different at that time that I realized that there is another dimension to me. All of a sudden, something like oh my God, I woke up and I looked around on the beach. There is all these dogs, in Mexico, not quite beautiful.
Right.
But all of a sudden, those dogs looked very nice and beautiful to me.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, something has happened. So
It's shifting.
the realization, and which gave me even more difficulties because at that time I was building a condominium project in Mexico in Puerto Vallarta. It needed to be finished. It's like, well, okay, God, if that's enlightenment, thank you very much, but I still have to finish my project.
I'm a little too busy for enlightenment.
So anyway, that's sort of a very short synopsis of what happened. And ever since then, I spent a lot of time in teaching, exploring, experiencing a part of me. That's what I call it. It's the intelligence that runs the body. It's in the body.
Right.
I've been exploring that, experimenting with that. I've been teaching that.
Yeah.
When people look inside the body, or when they say look inside, they usually find personalities or emotions and part of the mind. Oh, let me get to know myself.
Yeah.
Or what damages have I suffered, and right?
Yeah.
And not realizing that there is a portion of us that's absolute perfect right now.
Yeah.
The higher level of
go into memory, right? They go into a memory of themselves rather than staying present in the moment.
Yes,
with the perfection that's already there, right?
That's right.
Right.
And staying present with the moment.
Yeah.
Is even the expression is in time. It's now. It's at that moment. But and of course the mind is expressing the words, the concepts, and everything. So it's fine. But there is a component inside the body that's perfect.
Yeah.
And the body is usually talked about like, oh my God, I'm not the body. Get me away from it. Everything is frequency. Everything is energy. right, all that, which is not, I realize is not correct, but that's what I learned before, right? So there's a perfection that's accessible right now, even though I might have body pain, even though I might need a personality adjustment, even though I might need to look at my emotions, right? So there's a perfect world that's accessible now. And if we call that the now, then I agree with the now. So that's sort of the very basis of what I teach. I hate the word teach, but I don't have a better, right?
Yeah, what you share with
share,
people.
yeah, share.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, share. From now on, it's share.
Sure.
So, so as I've been working within that world, and I've been exploring that world within the body and without the body, as within, so without. I've done a lot of exploration. I call it kinesthetically driven attention. I get for instance, I get a body part like the hands, and fully immerse myself, fully feel it, and I don't take my attention off of it, right? And then when it's filled with attention, the mind immediately stops. But we don't stop there. We go further and keep feeling, and all of a sudden, the body's intelligence starts to come out, which is perfect. And that intelligence can be driven, can be transferred into other parts of the body, so I can feel other parts. And as I can feel through inner and outer parts. I can feel my face, the jaw, I can feel my chest. With the help of the breath, I can feel the inside of my nose, on and on and on. So there is a.
And this creates healing, or what does that do when you focus on these body parts?
When I focus on this body part, I get in touch with that universal intelligence that runs the body that's perfect now.
I see. So it's almost like a meditation.
Okay, well, we can say it's the meditation is usually calming the mind. And this is a step further where we're not happy with the calm mind. What we want is the calmness of universe, God, the peace that passeth all understanding type of stuff. So there is a peace that is a different quality peace than what comes from meditation. That comes from the body and body parts. And as I'm able to feel the body parts and combinations thereof, there is different kinds of feelings, and I realize I can control or adjust my circumstances. I can create synchronicity in my life. So it's a long thing. I'm kind of in a hurry to tell you, but it's feeling a body part is being in control of the context of life. And as we feel, as we get into it, all of a sudden there's this amazing feeling that shows up. We can call it nirvana or perfection or whatever you call it. But
peace.
But we can modulate by modulating that feeling and getting in touch with it. We are now in control of the context of life or the circumstances of life, the synchronicity.
Yeah, you're touching into the field of life, of the universe.
So I've been doing it for quite a long time. It's fantastic. It works like really well. Not too many people are open to it, but the ones who are open to it, they are really strong.
Well, I would imagine that maybe someone who's very kinesthetic to begin with, like there's different body types, right? People are very, very kinesthetic. They do everything with their body. They feel everything in their body very strongly. And then other people are a little bit more up here in the mind, and other people are a little bit more auditorial or whatever. But I could imagine that someone who's very kinesthetic to begin with do very well with a technique like that.
Yes, and to begin with,
like dancers, right? Like dancers are people that are very kinesthetic. They express themselves with their body. Right?
Exactly. And I am, and I was always very kinesthetic.
Right, right.
So I developed that, but anyone can learn it, not just kinesthetic people.
No, of course, of course. But I would think that that would be the perfect technique for a kinesthetic person.
Absolutely. So we get amazing results for ourselves and for people in doing this, in feeling, shifting attentions within the body, using body parts to connect with different body parts, realizing that the feeling in the hand is different than the feeling on the face and the nose and inside the nose. And so it's like getting to know and navigate this reality, which is absolutely perfect, which is represented by the body.
Just getting really present with all these different energy fields in your body, right? Like all the different parts that are you, or that are working within you.
That's right.
To get really present and in touch with it.
Yes, exactly. By getting in touch with it, we're actually able to modulate the circumstances of our life in advance.
And how does that work? Like, what's the jump between getting present to your body and influencing what goes on in your life?
Well, being present in the body, and when the mind stops, which stops very quickly when you focus on inside the body, the body emits what we call the golden essence. I call it the golden essence. The body emits this actual feeling, sensation, which you can actually grasp, hold, and so that's the basic kinesthetic sensations of life itself. That's who we are. So we're able to grasp it, release it. It's not hypothetical. It's you can touch it. It's a touchy-feely thing. You can touch it, feel it. It's different than the peace of mind. And so once the golden essence is released, we can be with it. And now we can modulate the golden essence using different body parts to intend different things in life, right? It's all very...
Can you give me an example? Like, can you give me an example? Because I'm just trying to understand, like, how...
Yeah. So once this golden essence is released, like I said, it is not the mind, not the piece of the mind, it's further in. Once it's released and I can feel it, there's different exercises to learn how to fill up the room, how to transfer the feeling from the top of my head to the bottom of my foot, how to fill up my lung, on and on. And by doing that, we're actually navigating this world that is not the world of the mind.
Right.
Totally different. And so once there is a golden essence, and I can
almost like get out of your mind, get into your body, right?
Get into your body.
The intelligence in your body.
That's right.
That's already there, that's in every cell of your body, and work with the intelligence in your body rather than the intelligence in your mind, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And what it is okay, first we get into the body, then we realize it matters whether I'm fully focused on my face, or a face and eye combination, or a face and hand, or my stomach. So the different body parts we started to represent different kind of golden essence feelings.
Oh, okay.
So it's like that's the way to talk to the universe. That's the universal language that the universe understands. Universe understands sounds, colors, and these kinesthetically driven feelings. And we can visit even different deeper dimensions with the body. So it all starts with not discarding the body, but really the opposite.
Right, integrate.
In totally feeling it. And so, for example, we can
really connecting to it fully rather than ignoring it. Really, most people are doing, right?
Yeah. And with practice, you can visit different dimensions. Like it's like you have a spaceship all of a sudden, and then you can go deeper. You can go and focus on a certain body part or a certain something outside yourself. And you realize that all of a sudden your intentions have a place. All of a sudden there is places that your intention can hang on to.
Now, Nutri, do you do this as well? Do you also do this kind of work?
Yes, I do. As a matter
And
of
does
fact,
it feel differently to you than it does to Gabor?
yes, he's mastered it. I'm still practicing, but I was going to say before, when Gabor talked about meditation, for example, peace of mind. Before I met Gabor, I did every conceivable spiritual practice you can imagine, from chanting to visualization, law of attraction, meditation. I did all of it.
Right.
I was in India and everywhere, trying to learn this. And I had many, many spiritual experiences that were wonderful, all fleeting. None of them lasted, but they were there. And I was I became a spiritual junkie.
Right.
And when I met Gabor, first of all, I resisted him completely because I didn't want, oh, no, this is the end of the line. I knew my search would be over. And I was a searchaholic.
I know that's that Sagittarian energy of like, I need more. Search for more.
Sagittarian rising.
Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah, that's the Sagittarius for sure. Yeah.
So finally, we got together and he had me do this very simple exercise. Just feel your hand. And I thought, okay, I'll feel my hand. At that time, I was already so spiritually exhausted. And I saw through a lot of the falsity and the fraudulent teachers that are out there. So I wanted nothing to do with a teacher. I didn't want a teacher. I didn't want a spiritual path. I didn't want a spiritual guru. Nothing. I'm done. But we got together and I said, well, what is it that you do? And because I didn't know, and before that, I told him what I used to do and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He had me feel my hand. And said, look into my eyes and feel your hands. And I was feeling it and feeling it. And all of a sudden, something shifted inside me. And I could not believe it. I thought, holy shit, this is not the same. This is a kind of silence, a kind of peace that I've never experienced, not in meditation, not in chanting, not sitting at the feet of my holy guru, like nothing.
Wow.
I couldn't compare it to anything. It was complete silence. Mind stopped like there was nothing.
That's incredible.
And I realized at that point a few very important things. Number one, that it was unlike anything else. So this must be something very different than I've ever experienced. Also, I realized that I was no longer in my mind. It wasn't a state of mind. I wasn't in the mind. And I realized that up until that point, I didn't know what it was like not to be in the mind. I studied metaphysics, all about going beyond the mind, transcending the mind. So I thought I transcended the mind because I could quote any teacher who talks about it. So I thought I got it. And I realized I didn't. And I realized that one can't see the mind, can't know if one is in the mind or not in the mind until one is actually out of the mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was only by
you have to truly experience it in order to know it, right? Like you can't just think it.
Yeah, can think it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was only when I actually was able to enter the body through putting my attention in the physicality of the hand. It was actually the physical. It wasn't a thought about it. It wasn't looking at it. It wasn't
like you were being the hand, like you were in the being of the hand.
Exactly. Feeling the vitality of the hand. That kind of attention took me out of the mental realm, out of the horizontal duality realm, and put me into, it's a dimensionless dimension. I can't even say that it's a dimension.
Right.
And that's when I knew, oh my God, this is it. And that was it for me. Of course, I've had to practice it because the mind doesn't like that.
Of course, the mind wants to stay active and wants to be like, hey, I'm still here. Hello.
The mind wants credit for any spiritual progress. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I'm
credit.
supposed to
Sure.
say to you, yeah. So
Uh-huh.
the mind rebelled and all that. But over the years, I've been practicing. And since we came to Hungary, Gabor discovered that the Hungarian language is so conducive to awakening. It's built into the language. And because of that, he was able to develop new techniques and new explanations that I've never heard before, that we never talked about before. And it keeps coming. He does this 24/7, and he keeps developing more and more and more. And what happened was that not too long ago, you asked before the question of, in a practical way, how do we change things in our life with this?
Yeah.
And so I've had a problem trying to get my citizenship permanent residency
For Hungarian.
for Hungarian. The bureaucracy was like unbelievable, and there was all kinds of mistakes that were done along the way. And I was getting all these phone calls of interrogation, like, are you sure you live where you live? You're not working anywhere? You're not doing this? When were you last in Canada? When were you, like, nonstop? And I was starting to panic. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm never going to get this. One day I said, okay, no, I'm going to use what I learned. So I just sat quietly, and I start with my hands because I'm used to it. I started to do the practice with the hand, and then feeling in the body, and staying with it, and staying with it, and staying with it, and going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I started using the breath to go in deeper, and a whole bunch of techniques that it's not going to mean anything right now, but just a lot of different things that I learned from Gabor. And then I realized, and we've talked about this, that the truth is that if my body is a fractal of the universe, then that means everything in the universe is within me.
Right.
And if I'm in touch with that universal intelligence that runs the body and runs the universe, then I can be in touch with other forces, like the planets, like the angels, or whatever the case may be. So I said, what have I got to lose? I started to, in this place, now I can't do that with my mind. It won't work.
Right. You have to be already in the body.
That's right. Because I was totally immersed in the golden essence, if you will, or the intelligence of the body, I was able to invoke the angels. And I said, angels, this needs to happen. I need to get my permanent residency. Do your thing. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how to do it, but I'm here. You're in me. And now I am in this context, I'm able to modulate my reality. So let's go. Let's do it. And I kid you not, Sonja, the next day I got my papers.
Wow.
And I've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks. The next day, there they were. And I got goosebumps, and I thought, oh, wow, this stuff really works. And it's not the only time. There's many, many, many. Blood pressure goes up. I go in, it goes down. I mean, it works for so many things.
Right, like health, as well as stuff that's just you just want to materialize.
Anything. And that's why we're so interested now in astrology as well, because the planets are inside us.
Oh yeah, I always say, what is outside is inside. You can't disconnect. You can't disconnect from life, because we're all interconnected with that, and it's all one, really.
Yeah.
But I've always believed in the idea of that every cell of my body is like a microscopic replica of the whole universe, right? Like the whole universe doesn't just live within me once, it lives in every single cell once.
That's
so
right.
It's like every single cell has the whole universe, which means that I'm a multitude of universes, like my whole body is like a multitude of universes, which is phenomenal to think, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And that's why I really appreciate your style of astrology, because I've looked into different astrologers, and most of them deal with fear. Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a T-square here and an opposition there, and be careful, don't do this at this time, don't do, it's like that. And yours is never like that.
Yeah.
You're always talking to people in your
I
right.
don't believe in fear.
Exactly. You're always
I mean, I know it exists. I know people have fear, and I have fear too sometimes, but I don't believe in coming from that place, especially now when you talk about something that's so big like astrology, where we're really dealing with planetary energies, like there's no point in coming from fear, because the universe is not scared.
Exactly.
Ever, right?
Exactly.
Why should we be?
Exactly. And you always talk about how to use the energies, to use what's happening for your benefit. So I really always resonated with your writings.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's just what feels right to me. What feels what's in alignment with my own belief systems and what resonates with me. And I'm a Taurus, so my body is very important to me. Like I'm definitely like in my body a lot. I mean, I can also be a little bit up here too, because the astrology kind of takes me into my third eye a lot, and there's a lot that channels through, right? But I like to ground it in my body. I like to bring it in and ground it and make it real, because I believe that, I feel like with a lot of people that are into spirituality, one of the things that is a trap is to stay too much out there, right? To not ground it in your own body, to not ground what you experience in your own body, right? Because this is the vehicle that we're working with right now, right? I mean, that's why we're all in human form, is to be in this body, right? I mean, there's a reason for that. Otherwise, you would have been on a different planet, somewhere in the universe without a body, right? You would have just been like, I don't know, energy, some kind of alien, right? But here we are, right? And this is our instrument. So I really believe that the physical body is a big place to integrate what we do here on this planet, and what we learn, and how we connect with everything. I mean, that's our vehicle, right?
Right.
I love what you guys are doing, in terms of the really connecting to the body. And I think with Uranus being in Taurus right now, I think it's very important for people to learn about something like that, to learn about how to use your body in a very different way from how you used to using your body, right? I think this is the time for us to calibrate our whole body, to have a whole new connection to our body, and to calibrate it in such a way that we're able to move more into a spiritual place, but with our bodies, not without it, right? Like a lot of people in the spiritual community, they think they have to get out of their body in order to be spiritual, right? But I think what we really need to do is get back into our body and use that vehicle, to get into that higher vibration.
Exactly. And that was a very foreign concept for me, because all my previous teachers just spoke about the body. My first teacher called it a shit factory.
Right.
And
that's how spiritual conversations were. The body was bad, right?
That's right.
Ego, the body, like all these things. But I'm a big believer in integration. I don't think that anything is wasteful, or is everything has reason to be there, right? Like you just need to work with it in a way that works best for you, and to be able to make your life better,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but the higher level of consciousness is located first in the body,
right?
spreads not out of the body.
Right. It's not, it doesn't exist outside. It exists inside.
It's really, so if you want, somebody wants a higher level of consciousness, whatever we call it, it's not there. It's not in the mind that resonates, and it's not in a higher frequency. It's not in a higher octave. It's not in the energies. It's higher level of consciousness is before energy was created. There's no dimensions, and that's all here.
Yeah, it's all collected here in each cell of our body.
And we inherited it. We were born with it. We can get in touch with it and use it. Use it is a big term, but
yeah, I know what you mean. Like connect with it.
Can get in touch with different body parts, organs, chakras. So chakras have built-in attention combinations. So we use.
I mean, in a way, yoga is a first attempt, right, to connect the body with the spirit in some way, right? Like to get ourselves through movement or through certain, you know, connecting to certain things inside of us.
Even that what we call spirit is born out of the intelligence of the body. It's not like here's a body and here's a spirit.
Right. It's connected.
And we have conscious access to it once we're able to take our attention and focus within the body for longer time. That's when what I call the golden essence is born, and we can call it spirit if we want. Now we can mold it and modulate it and do all kinds of things with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the confusion comes in because, you know, once you die, right, and once you leave your body, then there is something else that lives on, right? But as long as you're in your body, all that is in here. You know, it's that's your container, right? It's your container for everything that you need in this particular lifetime, right?
But the weird stuff is, of course, that everything that you need after the body dies, it's in the body, and while we're alive, it can be explored, and it can be, we can get to know that part that will live on, that's currently in the body.
Right.
If you don't get to know it, the body dies, that's it.
Right.
So even that spirit that lives on is located, and if we're conscious of it, that will live on consciously, even though the body dies.
Right.
So we're totally in agreement. Like it's totally there is so much misunderstanding about it, and it's so popular that it's amazing.
But I think we're starting to shift a little bit, because we're realizing that it's not working, right? Like the spiritual sense of like just getting away from our bodies, it's not working. It's not actually helping us be better here on this planet. You know, it maybe helps us to escape the planet and to escape our you know, feelings or whatever pains or tragedies that we're experiencing here, but it's not actually helping us be happier living here and being it, you know.
Absolutely. And I mean, we even just to escape the body, we have to first take out that permanent something and get to know it really well, to have something to escape with. That's the vehicle to escape with, even if you want to escape from the body. So it's
I mean, you can't really escape from the body, right? You're in it, so you can't really go anywhere with it, but the mind can, right? The mind can kind of like
the mind thinks it can do all kinds of things, when in fact the mind is like,
the mind thinks it's very smart and is an acrobat.
Yes.
But you made a very important point that I want to get back to a little bit, and that's that people don't really attain anything.
Right.
Right. What I'm finding is that is absolutely true, and I think many people don't even realize that they're not attaining, and they don't even know what there is to attain, what is possible for them to attain, and they've become addicted to the search, like I was.
Right.
And they no longer want to attain something. For me, when I was with my second long-term teacher, the metaphysician, at that point, it was so tantalizing. The words were so that he used. I thought, now I found. So my self-image was of a person who has found. Now I found, now I know I'm doing this. I love this. It's my life. I found. After he died, one day I noticed that it's been a few years, and then I've been hopping from one thing to another. I tried this teaching, I tried this, I tried that. And one day I caught myself and I said, wait a minute, if I have found, why am I still searching?
Right.
And
because it's not outside of you, right? It's inside of you. And that's the problem, right? If we're searching outside of ourselves, we're never going to find anything.
And I tried it.
It's not there.
I try to tell this to people, they don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, why are we searching? And I know hundreds, if not thousands of people from all my years of different groups and practices, they're still going along with it. And I don't think they even realize.
Well, because people want answers, right? And the answer will only land here. The answer cannot land anywhere but here. And if you're dealing on the level of the mind by trying to understand something that's beyond the mind, you're never going to get there, right? Because it's not, the mind can't grasp it.
Exactly. You're going to have lovely aha moments,
right?
And mental masturbation and realizing, and you're going to think, oh, I must be awake. Like I used to think. I must be awake because I realize this and I know this and I get it and I get that and I get that.
And it's just belief systems, right? And it's just like knowing something else that somebody else maybe doesn't know yet, but still it doesn't make you better or smarter.
No. And there's still no peace. Like
Gabor, and there's still no peace, yeah. Because the mind
was saying he was sitting with Indians, they were all peaceful, and he was, you know, oh my God.
I was thinking and scratching my head because it was scratchy. But anyway.
So with all this,
so is that what Indian tribes do? They kind of go into the body? Because they seem to be very connected to the earth and to earthly things, right?
Yeah, they were very connected. They were very simple. They had a shaman, but no big deal. But they would get up in the morning and they were just sitting, you know, like sitting. And I pretended that I'm doing the same, you know, like that.
Right, but your mind was probably going, "What's going on here?"
And I realized that they could just sit and no thought. And how come with all my spiritual knowledge, I can't do the same? So that was shocking.
Yeah.
You know, I can do such a simple thing.
Yeah, you definitely have to go beyond the mind. The mind is not.
Yeah, and you don't know. That's the big thing, that you don't know. Unless you go out of it, you don't know.
Unless you have the experience itself, you don't know what it is exactly.
No way. There's no way to know except with experience.
I've done some work with a teacher of mine. It's called the Sedona method. And it's a technique that helps you to get out of the mind, right? So it's kind of like a tool that helps you to go beyond the mind. So you engage the mind in order to do it, but you engage the mind with questions that then help the mind kind of like calm down, and then you're no longer here, and then you just go into a very peaceful place. But it's a place that's sort of like, it's like you're everywhere and you're nowhere. You're just you're everything and you're nothing. You're just sort of like you're experiencing the experience.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's hard to describe it, but you're just sort of like in a state of presence. You know, I mean, that, I guess that's the way I would describe it, that you're just here now. You're very present, but you're not. Yeah, there's nothing else happening, really.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like the idea of the body, because I like the idea that you can really work with your body in a way that it teaches you about the universe, right? That it's not just a thing that helps you, make coffee or, do the laundry, but that you actually, like, the body can teach you about the universe.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's beautiful.
And it's instantaneous. You know,
and it's instantaneous.
It's like, I don't think it took even 2 minutes for me when I started to feel my hands. I didn't have to do any anything. I didn't have to work with my mind. I didn't have to,
Right.
and I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was boom, you know.
But you went straight into it.
And the interesting thing is, Gabor and I ran into each other during the time that I was running away from him and trying to avoid him, because I was always, whenever we met, I was always talking about what I learned, and he was a fantastic listener.
Good for you, Gabor. Good for you.
So I was very impressed. It was so easy to talk to him. But we ran into each other in a singles barbecue, and we were talking again, and he said something to me. He said, "You know, what you're doing is fine, but what you're doing is in the mind. You're using the mind to go out of your beyond your mind. What I do is not in the mind at all."
She was
And
pissed
I
off.
was so pissed off, Sonja. I thought, how dare he say that I'm in the mind? I've been 40 years working on getting out of my mind with every technique imaginable. And he's telling me that what I'm doing is in the mind. I was so angry. I kind of a nice smile. I was, you know, and I said, well, let's just agree to disagree. Overtly hostile kind
Well,
of.
until you have the experience, right? Like,
That's it. When I finally experienced that, that's what he meant.
Yeah. And then she didn't like me because I was wearing the same shirt twice.
oh no.
And he was wearing
I was wearing sandals with socks.
Oh no, you don't do that. That's a no. You can't do that.
You're a model. You would know how low cost that is. But so
I was looking for all these excuses not to be with him, because I intuitively I felt once I get into what he's in, the search is over, and I was addicted to the search, like so many are.
Right. Yeah.
Like the search, because the search is in the mind, and the mind doesn't want to die.
But keeps you busy, right? I mean, the search keeps you busy. And so I think that there's a part of us that wants to stay busy and distracted so that you don't have to go into that place of emptiness and nothingness, you know, like where it's just everything there, you know, because there's really nothing to do once you get to that place. You know, once you're in that place of like complete oneness with everything, with the universe, there's nothing you need to do.
No, but you can have fun creating.
I mean, yeah, you can just create from that place. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's there's nothing to, you can just be.
Right.
No problem. And of course, the possibilities that show up is full mastery of life in every dimension. From that piece that you're talking about, just being. If we explore that world, all kinds of possibilities show up. All kinds of attention types show up that we haven't experienced before. So from that piece, there is a whole new level of life that evolves.
Right.
And that's where
because you're creating from that place then, right? Because you're creating as you go, right? Every moment is a moment of creation. So if you're creating from that peaceful place, then you're creating on a much vibrational level than if you're creating from a place of business and mind
and that's the danger of a peaceful state of mind, because I've known many people who are stuck in bliss. It's blissful, and they're stuck in bliss, and they don't know how to. They can't move on beyond that, and they don't even want to, because it feels good, but it's not.
But that's escape then, right? So then that becomes an escape, not really a way to live in the world.
Yeah. It's not home, you know, and we're not living in the Himalayas or in some cave. We have to pay.
Well, some people choose that life, right? Some people are Tibetan monks, you know, and they that's all they do.
It's nice for a few days or a week, you know, and then come back to the middle of the city, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal with it.
But I mean, I always said, you know, if you are truly awakened, you got to be able to live anywhere and be in any circumstance and still feel the energy of that, right? Because otherwise you're not really, I mean, if you can only be awakened if you're in a Buddha position, you know, sitting somewhere very quiet on the top of the mountain, you're not really awakened. You just, you know, you just have a lot of peace. You're just enjoying the view and the peace, you know.
Believe it or not, some of our, Gabor and I, not many people like to do this or even hear about it, but one of our main practices is to watch a violent movie and at the same time practice being, and we watch it, we watch what's going on, like where there's a murder or a rape or whatever it is, and we're able to hold the inner peace. But the silence or the golden essence or whatever it is that we want to call it, and we're able to stay there while watching it.
Very cool.
That is an
powerful.
incredible experience.
All the revenge is happening there, and all the fear and everything. I can even allow myself to go into it and go, oops, and I am, ooh, and just straight in it, and then it's happening over there.
Very cool.
I am. So
yeah,
watching violent movies is part of our advanced exercises.
Yeah. And
I mean, I definitely notice when I watch something that that is upsetting, I can immediately feel it in my body. You know, immediately I'm like, you know, there's like a holding or a tension or something goes on in my body, and I have to really release that. I have to really let that go.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I stay away from the news and from anything that's too extreme.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put my body through it. You know, I'm like, nice. My body doesn't need to get through it.
Yeah.
The news are lying anyway, so you're not missing.
Well, that's the truth. Yeah.
Well, I want to know what they are lying. Like, you know, what's the current lie?
So,
well, that's the thing, is you never know what really it is that they're lying about, but they're lying about something.
Oh, sure. I get information online, and then the mainstream media is always lying. So trying to figure out, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting time that we live in, where we really need to learn to trust our own instincts and our own inner truth, and not get so caught up in the outside world. And I think that's such a new paradigm and such a new way of living that a lot of people are having a hard time with that shift, you know, because trusting yourself, you know, is not easy for a lot of people that have been trusting the media, the politicians, the doctors, everybody out there in the world. They've been putting their trust so much into other people.
That's right.
And not into themselves, that all of a sudden now they should start to trust themselves and make their own decisions. You know, it's like,
we don't know how. We don't know how. It's like,
a lot of people don't know how, because they're not used to doing that, right?
Trust myself becomes another concept. Okay, I trust myself. Okay, I trust myself. So, but what's happening? I gotta trust myself.
Where does the information come from that you trust, right? That's the thing.
When all your life you were exposed to templates and narratives and stuff like that that's going on in their head. Oh, I should trust myself. Okay, I trust myself. As a concept, trust myself doesn't mean anything.
Right. What are you trusting? Are you trusting your own mind? That's not a good idea. Don't trust your own mind.
For most people, myself, it equals my mind.
It's the mind, yes.
Or my self-image, and
or my conditioning, whatever you've been conditioned into, yeah.
And how stable is that? Why would I want?
Well, these are all fleeting things that come and go, right? Yeah. So you gotta trust what's there all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, how I got interested in the astrological aspect, and I don't know anything about it. Just talking to her, I know the planets.
It's complex.
Yeah, the planets influence us for sure. I know that. The moon influences the water levels.
Sure. Yeah.
It's evident. Anybody who doesn't believe it is, you know.
Yeah.
So okay. So where is that planetary influence in my body? Okay, so Mars is here.
Where does that connect inside my own self?
What I know, I can fully be in my face, fully, 100%, and don't leave. Okay, so what does it represent? I can fully be in my eyes. I can fully be everywhere in a combination. So if I can access the equivalent of those planets that is outside, inside, okay, now I'm in a position of modulating. So it influences me from outside. What can I do with it from within? Those are the questions that I started asking
Right.
That's
And
why
one
I'm
thing that
telling
I
people to
usually
find
say,
out, you know.
one thing that I usually say with the planets is, it's not a good idea to get stuck by thinking that the planets influence you from the outside in only, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's more like that the outside is a representation of what's already within you, right?
That's,
So if we're
exactly.
going by, you know, that every cell of your body has the whole universe in it, then of course every cell of your body has all of the planets in it too, right?
Right.
It's like what we're seeing out there is just a representation of what you're already experiencing within. That's why very often, you know, when I give readings to people, they will say to me, oh, I've been feeling exactly that, because of course they've been feeling it because it's already there, right? Like it's not a newsflash. It's not like I'm telling you something that you don't already know. Of course you know it because you're experiencing exactly what I'm describing to you. I'm just describing it. I'm just verbalizing it, but you're already feeling it and experiencing it internally because it's in you, right? It's already in.
Yeah. And what I'm talking about is feeling how to shift it. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. How to use it in a way that,
even though it's influencing me inside, I want to be able to grab it and shift it. That's that's the intention.
It takes it away from the a victim mentality to sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. And that's very important these days because we're so many people stuck in victim mentality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And blaming other people, and you know, and that's not useful, because if you can't take responsibility for your own power, then you're always going to feel disempowered, right?
Exactly.
And we're all so powerful. That's the astonishing thing, right? Is that we're so powerful, each one of us, in terms of what we can create and what we can do, and yet we all have bought into this belief that we're not.
That's right.
Right? It's like we've forgotten, you know, the power that we actually have.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of it is the social conditioning and how you grow up and, you know, you're being taught and all of that. But it's just up here, right? The moment you can drop this stuff and the moment you can drop all that conditioning, then you can actually experience, you know, the power that's there.
Exactly.
And not in a power is such an interesting word, isn't it? Because power can be interpreted in so many different ways. And I feel like sometimes when I say the word power, I think of external power, but it's not external, right? It's power that's inside of you. That's just energy power, you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's amazing how our worlds are meeting now.
I know, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I've never spoken to anybody who does what you guys do. This is very new to me, and it's very beautiful.
And I've never spoken to an astrologer who gets this on this level. So, you know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you guys you know, how do you share with the world? Like, how do you do courses, or do you teach one-on-one, or like what's your way of sharing this beautiful?
We have a YouTube channel with many videos. Gabor also does one-on-one coaching. And we also have an online course.
Okay.
And once you do the course, you can join a group. We have an ongoing group that once they do the course, they continue to come once a week with Gabor. Once in 2 weeks, they meet with Gabor, and in between that weekend, they meet with me and we do the practices together. So we learn how to integrate.
Right.
It's not a theory, and it's not just a practice. It's integration. So
And is all of this happening online, or is some of this happening in person?
In Budapest, it's in person.
Right.
And not otherwise. We have people from England, from Austria, Canada, United States, Mexico, everywhere. Those are online. So we have both. Yeah.
And these people are able to connect with you on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
once
right.
they've done the course?
Yeah,
We meet 2 or 3 times a week with the people who are really into it.
yeah,
Right.
In 2 languages, actually.
Yeah.
English and
Oh, so you do it in English and in Hungarian?
Yeah.
sometimes all at the same time.
yeah.
Well,
Really.
it's okay because the mind doesn't need to be engaged anyways.
Well, that's the beauty of it. While they are listening to the other language that they don't hear, they are just being.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Can
no
just
longer engaging their mind, so it actually works out quite well.
Like this
Right.
morning, he had an online session with a Hungarian group, and it's in Hungarian, right?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we have somebody join from New Zealand because of the hours.
Okay.
So he'll speak in Hungarian, and every now and then he'll throw a few English words so the person will know what to follow, right? So this morning it was in Hungarian. I'm sitting on the side, and when it's in Hungarian, I just do the practice myself. And I don't speak Hungarian, very little. I understand a lot of the words, but I try not to listen to the words in Hungarian because then my mind goes back into the mind.
I understand.
So I don't do that. I just do the practice. And for example, like I was thinking, okay, now I'm going to follow the breath into my nose so I can feel my face. And all of a sudden he'll say the same thing in English.
Perfect. So you're doing it already as he's
I'm
speaking
doing
about
it and he's saying it because every now
Sounds like you two are very in tune with each other.
yeah.
I have that with my husband as well. I will say something and he'll be like, I just thought that.
Yeah.
Or he'll do something. I'd be like, I was just wanting to do that.
Cool.
I think when you live together, you sort of like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
gel together very well.
Yeah.
Is your husband American or?
he's British, actually. He's from Oxford, but he's become an American citizen like in 2006, I think. It's been a while.
Yeah.
He likes to say he's an American.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah,
He likes America, or he used to like it a lot more than he does now. I think he's starting to not like it as much anymore.
No.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like
I
Canada.
love Americans, and I love the United States.
Yeah.
The government is a different story, but
Yeah. See, I think when we talk about a country, you always have to differentiate between the government and the people. Because honestly, I think the people in America, they're really great people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the government is not always great, but they're too black and white. It's too much duality.
Different things. Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's the same with Canada, right? I mean, the Canadian people are great people, but the government.
Oh,
well, the government.
What can you say? I mean, but that's just what's going on right now because of the transits that we're in right now. That's what needs to happen to show us, how to really grab our own power back and to be more sovereign in the world, to not give our power to governments, right? To create our own lives,
That's right.
And that's what we're learning right now. And it's a tough lesson because with that comes a lot of needing to face our own shadows, our own hypocrisies, and so that's not always easy to do, like when that conditioning comes up and most people don't really want to take a look at that, but it has to be faced so that we can move beyond it.
Yeah.
You gotta admit what's there before you can make it better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't just put icing on the cake and pretend like the cake is a good cake when there's really just shit underneath it.
That's right. It's a shit cake.
You can. Well, you can. Most people will put icing on a shit cake and just pretend it's a cake, Here, you want a piece?
Hey, isn't that nice?
One of
Isn't it lovely? What a beautiful icing I made.
Oh,
one of Gabor's favorite sayings is a shit sandwich is always a shit sandwich, no matter how much mayonnaise you put on it.
Right. That's a very similar analogy, right? Yeah, exactly. That people can do courses with you and learn about this modality. That's really wonderful. And of course, I have astrology courses as well that I teach that are always based on the belief systems that I have, which is more, as above, so below, that everything's connected, and that
Wonderful.
there's no such thing as black and white. I mean, I think we have to move away from black and white thinking, because that's not helping anybody.
Right.
So I'm always trying to kind of drop into the heart space. If you drop into the heart space, you're in a good space, and that's a good place to communicate from.
Yeah, these stupid concepts out there.
I know well, concepts are concepts, right? They're not necessarily real.
Not experience, right? Yeah.
Not experience. Yeah. Experience is the only, actually, one of my teachers always said, check your direct experience.
Yeah.
Always check. And this has helped me so much during COVID, actually, because in COVID, with all the information that came, so this. And I just kept going, I'm going to check my direct experience. What do I actually see, feel, hear, experience? And that has helped me so much, because just trusting my own direct experience, and that was my body's wisdom just as much as
intelligence knows, instead of the government or the
exactly
Fauci or whatever his name is.
Fauci.
Fauci.
Exactly. Yeah. It was so lovely meeting you guys.
Likewise.
Very
Have
nice.
a fantastic rest of your week and a beautiful weekend.
Take care of yourself.
Staying with me.
All the best.
All right. Much love.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.